Hello, everybody. It's Colin Fernandez here again from Sumo Logic. I'd like to welcome you all to Sumo Logic's Illuminate 22 community event this year. I'm especially excited and honored to have Daniela Ramirez from SoSafe joining us on our customer session today. We're going to be talking about the unification and automation of security, compliance, and observability. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Daniela for her support and collaboration with this session. And now over to you, Daniela.
Thanks, Colin. And good day to everyone watching this. And thank you for taking the time to hear about this journey with SoSafe and Sumo Logic. Before I start, let me introduce myself a bit more. Uh, myself and SoSafe for the ones that don't know yet. So I'm Daniela, as Colin said. I am originally from Chile. I have been living in Germany for the past year while working at SoSafe. I have 10 years of experience in the security world. I started my career as a mobile malware research at McAfee in Chile, and I later migrated to the SOC CERT world, focusing mostly on the blue team side. And for the past 6 months, I've been SoSafe's team lead for the Security Operations Center. My responsibilities here are related with establishing and improving our security monitoring, creating of incident response, everything related with incidents, the whole security monitoring work. And then for those that don't know about SoSafe, we are a cybersecurity awareness company that started back in 2018. We are the market leaders for awareness in the DACH region with more than 370 employees at 5 different office locations, more than 2,500 customers from different areas, and more than 1.7 million users. Just keep in mind these numbers for the future slides. To paint a better picture of how we're using Sumo Logic to achieve this unification, I want to spend a minute focusing on our infrastructure. As I mentioned, SoSafe is a platform where our clients log into and they get access to our content. This can be our phishing simulations or our training campaigns where they train their users. So internally, we have a number of mail servers, API servers, different type of servers. We have some storage, some proxy, and other things that are not that relevant, so they are not visible in this diagram. And then we have this whole platform and this whole product is created by our developers and maintained by our DevOps, who make sure that we have a good and stable product. And then we also have our IT side. This is not specifically for us. I just took it here from the source, as you can see. But it's your typical IT side where you have your endpoints to monitor, a mix of cloud and on-prem solutions, your network devices, like the standard, nothing that unique. Okay, what challenges and problems were we trying to solve with Sumo Logic? As I mentioned, SoSafe is a very rapid growing company. When you start your company, you try to make a good product that people want to buy and you get clients, right? So it's not possible to think how much and how large your systems are going to be in the next 4 to 5 years. And security monitoring wasn't the exception. We had a mix of on-prem and cloud systems to consider that they were feeding us information. Plus, as every other security team, we didn't have enough people. So we were looking for a tool that will provide us as much of the SOC level 1 in this platform and also all the automation that comes out of that. So we were looking for a platform that will help us solving all these problems. And then on the other side, as I mentioned, we're a product that is developed by our developers. So they are generating a lot of content. Then we have our DevOps that are maintaining the platform. And then on top of this, we have security. Security is not just about the SOC, it's also about application security. So making sure that our platform is secure enough. So here you are thinking about application security, SaaS, DaaS solution, and all the things that you can see on the picture. Vulnerability management, so a lot of information going around. Plus, as our market is in Europe, we need to be GDPR compliant. It's something very important to consider for us, and other certifications also. So we were looking for a tool that will not only just improve our security monitoring, but will help us understand how compliant we are with all these different requirements. Now, as you know, buying a new tool is usually not cheap, especially if you buy a new one, a good one. So how to convince management for the investment? First, as I showed in the infrastructure slide, in order to have a good visibility, we needed just one tool for both our platform and our IT. we couldn't have just two different systems, one to see what's going on our platform and one to see what's going on in our computers, in our personal computers, right? I'm sure you can understand this, but let's just think of one example. If one of our developers somehow got hacked or phished by a phishing email, and then this will allow an attacker to get access to our platform and they can make any changes. So by the time a security analyst will need to investigate this, they will start by going into the monitoring solution for the platform, right, to see that something happened, who made this change, finally understanding, okay, it was this developer that made the change. But then you don't have the visibility of what happened like on the computer of the developer itself. So you will need to go into the second monitoring solution and try to understand what happened with him. Did he got a malware? Did he got a phishing email that clicked? How was he compromised? So even just telling the story takes a long time. So you can imagine how the actual work for the security analyst would be. So this is why the first point that I used to convince for the investment was that with one platform we will be covering like the whole company. So that's two stakeholders already covered here. And second, we're looking at the different options that to replace our current monitoring solution. I found that there were a couple that also allow us to have our observability needs into one platform. For those that are not familiar with what observability entails, it's widely used by DevOps and site reliability engineers to monitor an application, an infrastructure, and everything that's going on inside, like the internet states that are going around. So we found out a couple of platforms did this. So not only did we have two stakeholders, but there were three stakeholders under one platform. So like more of the same people, more of the same in one platform. So that's good for the budget, of course. And thirdly, as I already mentioned, the compliance reasons also were a big thing to consider here, not just for us, but also for our future customers. I'm sure that I have people here looking, and you have your security assessment or security questionnaires. When you're buying a new tool, you are assessing how the tool that you're looking to buy is following compliance requirements and these important things. So this was also a good selling point, saying that was not only going to be a tool for monitoring, but also will help us with the compliance requirements that our clients are always asking, like, are you following this? Are you following this? Why did we choose Sumo Logic? When decided on what solution to get, one of the requirements was to have a SaaS solution. But not only a SaaS solution, we wanted a full native SaaS solution. We didn't want a hybrid solution or even an on-prem. We wanted a company that would understand and be fully aware of failure and resource consumption, as well as all the security aspect that comes from having the SaaS solution. We wanted our security team to be focused on identifying malicious or suspicious activity, and our DevOps to focus on maintaining our platform, not our monitoring solution. So this is how we narrowed down some of the vendors that we had on the list. The second point was this one-for-all platform. But what made the difference with Sumo Logic is the fact that the CM is on top of this intelligence platform, how it's called, and this is very important for the security team and for the security analysts because, as I'm sure you know, security analysts still need to have some PII data to make sense of all the information that is going around. We can't just have everything like hashed and with now no information at all to understand what is happening. But we still need to be compliant with GDPR. So if we were to use one platform for all these teams that I have already mentioned, this level of separation that Sumo Logic provided with the CM was very important. It was one of the good differentiators and one of the reasons why we chose Sumo Logic. And the third one also that is very important is the out-of-the-box content that Sumo Logic provides. Coming back to my slide with the challenges, this option made very easy for our security analysts to start finding interesting things quickly. Sumo Logic gives you a head start where other vendors aren't. So this is also a big point for us on why choosing that Sumo Logic was the winner. And then just a small shout out to the salespeople also. The whole process for the demo and the selling was very smooth compared with other vendors. They were making us go to a lot of different meetings, filling up some questionnaires, and they weren't really showing us the value of the platform. While with Sumo Logic, from the day one, they ask us what are your pain points, what are you trying to solve with this platform, and also our technical sales guy Eric, he was very good in understanding what was the problem that the security analysts usually have, what were the problems that we were going to encounter when we migrated here, and how the other tools were not as good as Sumo Logic. So this was also very good, and it's definitely worth mentioning. So it's been 7 months since we bought Sumo Logic and have been using Sumo Logic. And when thinking about this slide, about the benefits, the first thing that came to my mind was the ready-to-use platform. From the day after the purchasing, we were able to send data to Sumo Logic, which increased our visibility in 100%. With the out-of-the-box content that I already mentioned and easily integration capabilities, you don't need to have a very senior analyst to get the best out of Sumo Logic. They can both grow together. It is very user-friendly. There are so many good documentations, plus the support that you get from both online and the professional service guide makes a very steep learning curve. And the fact that the content is also constantly being updated is one of the biggest returns of investment to consider here. Another benefit that we get out of being using Sumo Logic for the past 7 months and with the whole unification topic is the visibility for the security team. I'm sure you are aware that the number one pain for the security analysts is having to investigate an incident and you have to go through all these different platforms. Some of them you don't even remember how to use them because you don't use them all the time. So it takes a lot of time and it's very time consuming, right? So when you have everything at one place and with Sumo Logic, easy integrations and parsing capabilities also, this makes very easy to send all the information to Sumo Logic and it helps improving the response time on the security analyst. So that's definitely another benefit to consider here. Now I wanted to share some real life dashboards that we are using and we have in Sumo Logic. These are related with our SoSafe-awareness.com site, which is the entry point for our potential clients and our current clients also. So as you can see here on the top left, of course it's a very high level view, but if we were to drill down on, for example, these 2.3 visitors that we're seeing on the US side, maybe we can find some new clients that they are interested in our product, or we could see that someone is trying to attack us. This is also a possibility and something relevant for security team, of course. Then on the bottom left, we can see how the website is responding over time. This is something important for our developers. If the chart were not to look how it is now, so like completely with full of errors, we have alerts in place that are directly going into the developers so they can see what happened if there was a change made that is causing this response that shouldn't be the case. And then also the traffic is not only relevant for our developers and our DevOps that are maintaining the platform, but also for our marketing people. It can help them decide when to push data or when to push content in the website to get the most visitors out of it. These are one of the oldest dashboards that we have in Sumo Logic, and still they provide very useful information for the teams. They were very easy to set up and to make tunings every now and then also. It's very smooth. So what's next and how Sumo Logic is coming with SoSafe to our next level? As I discussed in the beginning, the SoSafe has grown a lot and we are still growing, and with it, our infrastructure needs. So we're in the process to migrate our cloud provider solution, and here the security team, we're very relaxed because we know that we'll have almost no downtime when it comes to monitoring our systems because Sumo Logic is a very good fit with the cloud provider selected. So we are sure that the transition is going to be very transparent. We are going to be able to use the out of the box content and dashboards and create alerts very fast. So we're not stressed at all by this change. The second point where Sumo Logic has proven very useful is for proper team exercises. For those that are not familiar with the term, listen up because it's very useful to follow. So typically in your security team, you have the blue side that are the defenders, which are the ones using a tool like Sumo Logic to monitor and react for incidents, right? And then you also have the red side or the offensive side, which are the ones that are working or that are trying to attack your company and looking for ways to penetrate your systems. This is usually outsourced, but I truly recommend to have at least one offensive security engineer in your company that can do some of these tasks because it will improve so much more the value of the tool and your defensive team also. So if you mix red and blue, you get purple, right? Purple is not a new team. It's more like a framework mindset that it's all about collaboration and improving the security monitoring, the security posture of a company. So at SoSafe, the security team is following this mindset, and we're now at a level that we can do our own purple team exercises. And here, Sumo Logic has proven extremely useful because part of the exercise is that you do like a mini exercise or a test where you're seeing two small pieces of what the attacker will do on your infrastructure. so you can be prepared for what is happening on the real exercise day. And here we have been working closely with our offensive specialist and Sumo Logic. So he's been doing some actions, and we're like instantly seeing if we can see or not what he's doing on our system, and it has helped us improve the log quality. And maybe there are some logs that we are not seeing because it wasn't properly configured. So we're fixing things as we go doing the test, and in the exercise has been even more useful. So I totally recommend doing a proper team exercises. You will also get the best out of it using Sumo Logic. And finally, coming back to the title of this presentation about the unification for security compliance and observability, Sumo Logic will not only be a tool used by our IT, security, and DevOps, but it's also going to be a tool used by our non-technical people, like marketing, sales, and even our customer representatives. As I explained earlier with the dashboards, our marketing people, they are benefiting from the visibility that Sumo Logic provides us. Then our sales can also use the information here for leads or opportunities to find new vendors or new clients. And then even our customer representatives, they can be more proactive when noticing some issues between SoSafe and some clients. For example, they can we're going to have alerts for them when there is a problem in the connection for the clients, or where there is something that is not going as it's supposed to be, and they can hopefully contact the client before the client notice this. So yeah, one platform for all our needs is what Sumo Logic has been all about for SoSafe. And that's it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. If you want to reach out to me, I'm on LinkedIn or on Twitter. I'm not that active on Twitter, but still I'm there. So yeah, thank you for your time and have a nice day.